Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3 back with another kicking action figure review. Yeah, we have a cool one for you today. A DC Icons figure. I know they're a little out of date, but I still really dig them, and I have a few I haven't reviewed yet, so here we are. This is number 15 from the DC Icons line. Green Lantern, John Stewart. Mosaic. Yeah, so Hal Jordan is my favorite superhero of all time. I'm just going to say that. But John Stewart is the Green Lantern I grew up with. I'm just as familiar with him and his adventures with the Green Lantern Corps as I am with Hal Jordan's. And I am still currently following his adventures. I follow all the Green Lantern's adventures. Green Lantern is like one of my number one things. Definitely my number one for DC. Even though the Superman book for Rebirth is kind of the best. But, yeah, here he is, John Stewart, Green Lantern. I've always wanted a really good John Stewart figure, and I finally feel like I have one. This is a very good figure. This is after they made DC Icons a little bit larger. I think size is what killed the DC Icons line, honestly. They were too small for lots of collectors at the beginning, and then they changed the size, so then the line didn't scale with itself. The earlier DC Icons didn't scale with the newer ones, and then that pissed off the people that were okay with the downscaled figures because they were like, oh, it's a different line, different size, whatever. But then the line didn't scale with itself, and everyone was like, blah, 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 blah. So, that was an Amazon. So, yeah, plus there's no thigh swivel on these guys. But I liked DC Icons. It was a good line, all in all. And this is a good figure. So let's zoom out. Let's talk about articulation first. We get some up and down on the head, which is more than the earlier DC Icons had. Their heads didn't want to go up and down, really. And then we get side to side, up and down on the arms, forward and back. We got a bicep swivel, double elbow bend. We have a swivel on the gauntlet, but also a swivel on the wrist, and then forward and back on the wrist. So that's all pretty good. We have all these torso joints are always really tight on the DC Icons. You gotta wiggle them around a bit to get them all loose. And he also has the thigh crunch. Not thigh crunch. Can you imagine that? The waist crunch. That's what I meant. And then these can pull down. So that was a good bit of articulation they added. You could pull down the legs so they would swing up a lot higher. Like a figure art almost. That's what figure arts do. So that's just a joint that figure art inspired, obviously. It's a little greased up so it moves better. You know, it can kick out. Lots of good movement in the leg. Just wish it had a thigh swivel. That would have been a good joint to have. But, yeah, double knee bend. Up and down on the foot. And un ankle pivot. Fully painted on the bottom of the feet, too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that is John Stewart. I always liked how his costume looked a lot different than everybody else's. I like his lantern. He's just cool. He's a cool guy. But yeah, detail and paint, you got a nice shiny green. It's not so shiny, it's like, but it's shiny enough for a lantern. Nice matte black. The white's really good. A nice shiny white on the gloves. His ring could stand to be detailed. It's just a plain green ring. It has no Green Lantern emblem or anything on it. That is a gripe. I know they can do better than that because they have done better than that. I have the Hal Jordan from this line and I'm pretty sure he's better than that. I don't know. He's kind of behind a stack of books right now. I can't get to him. But you can do better than that, DC Collectibles. I know for a fact you can do better than that. But yeah, detail and paint, really good on this guy. I like his head sculpt. It's very John Stewart. So, now how about we get into what you guys all really want to see with this guy. Accessories! Here he is with his first effect, the Energy Plume. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty neat effect. It's just like he's forming a construct. Like he's not quite there yet, so it looks like it's in the middle of forming a construct or something. But how this works is it pegs into the hand, but it's actually an interchangeable fist. So you pop that original fist that had the bad ring on it off, and then you put that one on, and then you can peg that right into the hole. So that works out pretty well. And you can see the effect close up. It's actually sculpted really well, and look at that, it's even painted. It has like a silver wash on it to help it shine, which is really nice. Here he's in the same pose, but with a different energy effect. Oh, my kitty is asleep. Oh, she's being a good girl. But, sorry, I gotta talk about my cat at least a little bit. But, it's very different, like he's closer to the forming of the construct. It's almost like an order, because the next one isn't a construct, it's more like a shine. But it's kind of in the shape of this, so that's neat, I guess. But here's the closer look on it. You can see it's not as painted, but it still has a bit of paint just on the ends, and it's really nice. You know, see how it wraps around the fist like that? That's pretty Gucci. And here's his last effect, this kind of like shine off the ring you would see right before he blasted it or something, like when his ring lights up. It's a nice little effect. This is probably the effect I would display him with if I was going to display him with effects. Sadly, I'm not in a position where I can do that right now because I just don't have a lot of space to display, and also I have a cat. Lots of people don't let their cats in their collecting room, but I only have one room. My place is just one giant room, kind of like a studio except shittier. But yeah, you know, it's a nice shine effect. I really dig it. And of course, Stewart also comes with a lantern that he can hold in his hand just dandy, and it's actually a pretty dank lantern. I'm going to pop it out of his hand so you can see it real quick like. It does articulate at the handle. It's got a Green Lantern emblem on it. It's clear in the center, which is always nice. And it just looks real nice. And if you prefer his ungloved look, I have some news for you. He comes with interchangeable gauntlets, which is why they were articulatable there. So you can switch him out. Sadly, he still has the same bland ring, though. Now, for size comparisons, I'm going to show him with some Mattel stuff first. Sorry, guys. But here on the left, you have the DC Comics Multiverse Hal Jordan White Lantern. Sorry, he's DC Comics Multiverse. He's DC Universe Classics. Easy to get them mixed up. But here we have the DC Comics Multiverse Earth 23 Superman. And then we have even more cool stuff, like movie and TV show figures. Honestly, I was really hoping Jon Stewart would appear in Justice League, and when he didn't, I was really upset. But, yeah. So here he is with the Justice League Batman on the left, and the TV show Reverse Flash on the right from the Flash show, both from DC Comics Multiverse line. And here he is with the figures you've been waiting for, other DC collectibles. So here on the left we have the DC Collectibles Designer Series New 52 Nightwing by Greg Capullo. It's based on his artwork. And it's too big because it's their standard size. But here on the right, in the larger DC Icon size, one of the last ones they put out, the single packaged Superman from Rebirth, and I think they look great together. Don't you? They look pretty cool together. So yeah, that's size comparisons. So all in all, what are my final thoughts on the Green Lantern Jon Stewart mosaic figure from DC Icons and DC Collectibles? It's really cool. I'm glad I picked it up. The real cool thing about this guy is I got him on clearance price. He was like 12 bucks. Yeah. I still might get the Green Arrow just because I know it's on clearance price too. I actually got several on clearance price. But, yeah, I was real excited to get him for 12 bucks. He normally went for about 25 to 28. So, woohoo, $12. That made me happy. Barnes & Noble. But, I mean, he's a really great figure of a really great character. I love his accessories. I think they nailed it. I really do think they nailed it. He looks great. He functions great. And he is great. It's a great figure. DC Icons was a good line. It had its problems like thigh swivels and sizing changes. But all in all, great figure. Really like it. Biggest complaint's that ring. And honestly, his arm's going to be at his side in the display, so I can live without it. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. We'll have more reviews from lots of other franchises and figure lines and manufacturers. We also have comic book reviews and stuff on this channel. And we have all kinds of stuff on all our other channels too. Check out the links in the description below for all our cool stuff and our social media and everything. But that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all later.